Hello and welcome to Portfolio Room podcast. I'm Gleb Ismailov, head of Benelux, CFO specialist, and today we have Stéphane Cordesse, who worked with Platinum Equity, Alchemy Partners, has lots of experience in media and advertising sector. Stefan, thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
So today, the topic which we want to discuss is private equity has lots of interest in advertising sector, and you as a specialist, I wanted to get a bit more clarification from your side, which I think will be very interesting for our investors and finance people from private equity. So, what do you think essentially? Let's start with what do you think essentially attracts private equity in advertising business?
Okay, so private equity houses are often attracted to the advertising business. First, because of its potential for high returns, the sector can offer opportunities for growth, recurring revenue models, and the ability to capitalize on emerging trends in digital advertising. It's a main focus, and we will speak again in the next questions. Additionally, I would say that the fragmentation of the advertising industry allows for consolidation, creating synergies and operational efficiencies that can enhance profitability.
Mm-hmm. I see. And do you think, how would you navigate the balance between short-term financial goals and long-term strategic objectives within the context of private equity ownership in the advertising business?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think that to balance these short-term financial goals and long-term strategic objectives, we need to align what I would call the operational efficiency for immediate returns while investing in innovative strategies to enhance long-term market positioning
Yep.
and sustainability. So it could include optimizing cost structures, diversifying revenue streams. This is something we did with the digital out of home in our company, and always staying attuned to industry trends to make informed strategic decisions. And I would also mention four main factors that can influence positively or negatively how we can balance short-term financial needs and long-term strategic objective, which is the quality of the workforce. That's very important to have a look at how the workforce is made in the company, a high quality skilled workforce, and also be very cautious on the staff, because sometimes when you don't have enough staff, it can mean that the business leaders end up doing too many of the routine tasks that should be delegated. So should be very careful on that. The second is the financial health, which is not always the case, but as we know, the more financially healthy a company is, the better it will be able to allocate the resources it needs to deal with short-term issues, and also give a company confidence to invest for the long term. Attitude of owners and investors, because sometimes owners and investors are maximizing short-term profits, so we need to be careful on that. Sometimes company may decide to cut back a planned investment in staff or technology due to short-term dip in sales, but this reactive decision means the business will fail to achieve its long-term goals. And last but not least, the maturity of the business. Of course, if we in the advertising industry, you can have very, very new business that are more forced to focus on the short-term term, whereas my kind of business in the out of home is a very old business. So there are very various, I would say, type of advertising company from very new to very old. So you need to mitigate risks here and build a structure that can support continued growth.
I see. And you mentioned correctly that it includes lots of parties in that sense to how to achieve this short and long-term objectives. In what way do you think in that type of business, in what ways do you collaborate with private equity stakeholders to align all the financial strategies with the overall business strategy in the advertising sector?
Yeah, so in this sector, a robust business strategy typically encompasses the following key elements: market research, meaning that you need to understand your target audience, market trends,
Mm-hmm.
and competitors, of course, to inform your approach.
Mm-hmm.
Brand positioning, clearly define our brand and its unique value proposition. We are a very good example. We were a very old company named Giraudy for 100 years. Then we changed 3 times
Mm-hmm.
of name, which was absolutely not a good idea, but because we had new shareholders. And now we are deciding to use again our brand, our anchor brand, which was Giraudy. So it's very important. And when we see our two competitors, Deco has never changed
Mm-hmm.
its name, and Claire Chanel neither. So very important on the brand positioning. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, multi-channel presence, various advertising channels such as digital, social media, traditional media, and all of that. Data-driven decision making, trying always to be creative and innovative. That's also very
Mm-hmm.
different from one company to another. If it's a new, if it's an old one, of course, customer
Mm-hmm.
centric, which is absolutely obvious. Adaptability,
Mm-hmm.
ethical practices, employee development. And last but not least, something that we are hearing more and more, sustainability. So everything around environment, social impact of advertising
Yep.
strategies. That's also something very important. So you need really to cover all these key elements to
Mm-hmm.
be sure that you are clearly collaborating and aligning financial strategies with the overall business strategy
Yep.
in our sector.
And this, the further question, which is kind of continuation of the previous one, in terms of strategies, like like what strategies do you employ to optimize working capital, cash flow in the context of advertising business, and how does this align with the goals of private equity investors? Because it's not easy business; it's complicated.
Mm, mm.
Yep. But I guess now during when we have all of us are going through the restructuring phase, I guess it's a bit more popular because businesses are more aligned to invest into advertising, I guess. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's I won't say it's specific to our business. And as you know, I'm CFO, so I know well
yeah.
about these kind of things. And it's always about first negotiating favorable payment terms with suppliers, implementing efficient invoicing and collection processes. I'm always struggling with the invoicing processes because sometimes you are
Hmm.
looking for a number, you are looking for something, and you are just sending your invoicing very late, and of course it generates
Yep.
a bad DSO. If it's not really the case in advertising because we have not very large inventory, but sometimes for us we have billboards, and so we need to closely manage the what we I would call inventory levels. And these
Hmm.
strategies with that contribute to a healthier financial position, reducing the need
Yep.
for external financing, potentially increasing the company's valuation. And I would say that when you have an efficient working capital management, it's always attractive to investors because it reflects
Yep.
a well-run operation and, of course, can enhance returns on their investment. I always say, as a summary, cash is king. So
Cash.
generating cash
Exactly.
through a good payment terms with suppliers, efficient invoicing, uh, closely managing your inventory, that at the end is
Yep.
generating cash, and that is what is the most important, I would say.
Yep. Exactly. And I think especially now during times in
Yeah.
restructuring phase, you highlighted correctly that cash is the
Yes.
king, profit is the king, because it's not now the time where you could have been just have an idea
Yeah.
and going there, but if you don't generate any cash,
Mm.
investors will be like, sorry, hold
Yeah,
up,
yeah, and it
something,
can
we don't want
help
to
for
continue investing.
external growth also. If there
Yep.
are opportunities on the market, you can use this cash, especially now when the interest rates are going up.
Mm,
That's I would say really the right moment to have cash and to be able to use it
exactly.
in a different way.
Exactly. And do you think now, I mean, you probably, of course, know that IPO and exit is not the best thing right now,
Mm.
especially in this
No.
year. And I
Yeah.
think 2023, 23, 24, I don't think will be either as well a good year.
Mm.
But what do you think are potential exit strategies in that case for private equity investors in the advertising space? How do they, align with the industry trends right now?
Yeah, and you're right to say that IPO is really not the right solution for the moment. For me, really, there are two potential exit strategies in our media advertising. Maybe it's the same
Mhm.
in the others, but really in advertising, there are two things for me. Either you're selling to strategic buyers. So, for instance,
Yep.
we could be sold to for us to Clear Channel or even JC Deco, even if it's not so easy
Mhm.
because you have also to take care about the competition position, or engaging in secondary buyouts. And in terms of timing, I would say not before 5 years. So you should stay
Mhm.
as shareholder for 5 years, and then you have these two strategies. And really, these strategies align with industry trends as they cater to the evolving landscape. So selling to strategic buyers may leverage synergies with existing businesses,
Mhm.
and secondary buyouts involving selling to another private equity firm align with the trend of, as I said in the first question, continued
Yep.
consolidation in our media advertising industry.
But do you think in terms of like 5 years, I understood you mentioned that you each
Yeah,
hold an asset
yeah.
for 5 years. But do you think now, let's say, if an investor is holding the portfolio company advertising business,
Mm,
like let's say for 3 years,
mm.
when do you think is the right exit? Do you think at 24 it's possible or not really still?
The EBITDA multiple try to decrease. To be honest,
Yeah.
before
Hmm.
we were above 10. Now I would say it's more around between 6 and 8, depending, of course, on the
Hmm.
type of company. What I said, is it a new one? Is it an innovative one? Is
Hmm.
it an old one? Our company, which has been created in 1911, I would say that
Hmm.
certainly the EBITDA multiple is more around 6 to 8. But
Yep.
to make confidence and to engage in a secondary buyout, I would really, that's what we did with Platinum. Really, we kept the company for 5 years, and
Hmm.
we made some really big improvement in terms of profitability, which
Hmm.
was really the route for some growth and some
Yep.
opportunities for the new shareholder.
Hmm. Okay. I see. I see. And how do you think, the role of product house in that sense is different to owning an advertising portfolio company instead of, a media advertising company instead of to other sectors,
Yeah.
let's say to manufacturing or
Yeah, yeah, very good,
healthcare.
good question. Yeah, in media, clearly the investments often focus on technology-driven innovations, data analytics, and, as I said, digital platforms. That's really the main strategy, I would say. And
Mhm.
so private equity firms in this space may actively guide portfolio companies to adopt advanced advertising technologies, optimize data
Mhm.
utilization, and stay ahead in the digital landscape. So compared
Mhm.
to some traditional sectors, our media companies within private equity portfolios might experience a faster pace of innovation, strategy shifts to adapt to changing consumer behaviors and emerging technologies. That's exactly what we see in the out of home.
Mhm.
Out of home was very, very classic, very traditional. And then suddenly
Yep.
digital appears on the market, and it creates a very new opportunity, which is a little bit capex intensive, but with a level of profitability which is very, very much higher than on the traditional. So that's really
Mhm.
something that's really more on this digital opportunities that we are really making a difference with other sectors. So even if the sector looks old, like out of home, there are still opportunity for development and for, of
Yeah,
course, for profitability.
sure. And then, lastly but not least,
Yeah.
what trends or innovations in media advertising are attracting to private equity? Like, what do they attract? Like, how do they attract private equity interest, and how they're influencing investment decisions?
Yeah. So that's the kind of summary of what we said just before. It's
Hmm.
often drawn to
Yeah,
trends and
I think that's
innovation.
what I
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's would be quite nice, for our, as well, for our listeners today to kind of get the summarizing questions so they can understand whether it makes sense to
Yeah.
invest more
Yeah.
into media business. Mm.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's more around programmatic advertising is really developing a lot, and data analytics, we are
Mm.
more and more using data, and everything around digital platforms. That's all really what we need to leverage, and maybe
Yep.
also leveraging artificial intelligence, machine learning, data driven insights. So that's all around what needs to be developed in our media
I
advertising market.
I heard that and I saw that as well, that now AI analytics and data driven, that with the help of a human being, they can create a really cool design of a billboard. They can create a really cool
Mhm.
design of even
Yes,
a clip, like,
yes,
even now when when you speak with AI and you don't know, let's say, a name, how to create your
mm,
subject or how to create
mm.
your new project, you just say, can you collaborate two words, and it actually gives you some good ideas.
Yes, absolutely. You can also. I'm not sure if this is really artificial intelligence, but you can put some camera on your digital screen, and you can
Mm,
look at the emotion of the people just going
mm,
through, and you can see if your advertising is making sense in a way. Are
mm,
they do they have a right feeling or a bad feeling
mm.
by looking at
Ah,
the
reaction. Mhm.
yeah reaction? And this is also easier to do with digital than if this is paper, because digital you can try one day or one
Yeah.
morning, another in the afternoon, and see how the consumer is reacting. And that's really
Yep.
something very new for our specific out of home business.
Mm. It's interesting to see where it will take us. In some
Yes.
sense, I think I think still there will be big collaboration between humans and robots.
Mm.
But yeah, it's interesting where it's going.
Yeah.
Good. Stefan, thank you so much for coming by today. I
Mm.
think this discussion was full of interesting advices, interesting insights, not just for, again, for investors in private equity, but also people who are interested in media business and advertising business, but also for the professionals
Mhm.
who are starting in private equity and who want to become a CFO like you one day. So thank you for making your time and
You're
stopping by
welcome.
today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you, Gleb. See
Thank you, Stefan.
you.
And see you soon. Speak soon. Bye
Bye bye,
bye.
Gleb. Bye bye.